community feel that I wanted for this place, is for people to feel comfortable to come through and kind of make it their own and hang out and do some work, and then, do some shopping on the side if they're looking for something. It's kind of like it's great to have it as a one-stop shop, and I think each part of the store kind of, helps the other, so it's like you may come in thinking you're just going to get coffee, and then all of a sudden you're like, but what is this, this wonderful oil and incense that I'm seeing, or and vice versa. You may come in for the clothes, but then you're like, oh, well, let's get a bottle of wine and go out and sit outside. I mean, it's supposed to be a whole experience.
Mm-hmm. So with such a wide variety of products that you offer in your store, how do you go about selecting the items that you want to be featured in Friends and Neighbors?
Oh, that's a hard question, because I'm not even sure I know the answer to that. I think it's mostly just what I am attracted to personally, and things that I think that other people will be attracted to as well. A lot of times I try to represent a lot of things that are going on in the community as well. So if people in the neighborhood that are making things that I think are amazing, I definitely want to bring that in. And but there are other times where I find, someone in Oakland or New York who just happens to make really amazing ceramics or beauty products, and I think it's just whatever I personally am attracted to, that I'm excited to bring here, that may not be represented in Austin at all, or, that I think that it's just a fabulous product.
Mm-hmm. What have been some of the challenges and benefits of starting a business in Austin?
Well, a challenge for sure is being in an area that's still growing, and it's an up and coming area. I think that there is so much potential for this area, but we kind of got in on the early side, so it's kind of watching everything build up around us and build momentum as well, and people getting more comfortable coming further down east than they may have thought that they would travel to. But now it's becoming less and less of a trek. It's kind of just normal now. I think Austin's just expanding, and so you may not have ever thought that you'd come over here, and then now you find yourself coming over here a lot more. There's so much more going on. There's so many restaurants and bars and things to explore, and I think as Austin starts to kind of get used to the area and all the things that it has to offer, I think that we start to see business increase. Mm-hmm. So that's definitely been a challenge, but at the same time, I think Austin's such a warm, wonderful environment that everyone's just been so welcoming, and it's such a great feeling to see the customers come in and be like, oh, I follow you on Instagram, and I've been wanting to check you out, and I just think the community here in Austin is wonderful. It's very supportive, and they love small businesses, and I think they appreciate non-corporate stores that open up that really have that true Austin feel, which is really what I wanted to keep in with the store. I wanted it to feel old school and comfortable and not super put together. I think that's part of the appeal with it, is that it's something that everyone can relate to.
I actually follow your Instagram account, and I think that your Instagram account is amazing. It's really, really beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes.
I put a lot of time into it, actually. Sometimes one post will take me an hour in terms of taking the right photo and making the description and getting the filter right, or not even the filter, but just all of it. It takes me a while. I put a lot of effort into it, so I love hearing that kind of feedback, because I think that's the best way for me to express what this place has visually. To experience here without having to come here. I think that I try to put that all into each photo and not just, take a random photo of something. All of it, I think comes back to the brand of what the whole store and concept is.
Yeah, I really think that's your Instagram account really shows that, because I've actually been to your store too, and I really do think that your account really accurately reflects what you guys are all about, which is something that's really hard, I think, to do, to brand yourself properly on social media. So you guys are doing a really great job.
I love hearing that. It makes me feel really good.
So what are 3 of your favorite items in the store now?
Okay, so one of them will be these the Spirit Speak Tarot deck that I have.
Interesting.
she is like this amazing illustrator, Mary Evans, who does this. And she's based out of Oakland, I believe, or San Francisco area.
Okay.
But if you need any of that kind of info, I can get it for you. But so she has a tarot deck that I've had in the store for like a year now or so. But she just did an inverted, so they're all black and white.
Okay.
And she just inverted it to the other, instead of black and white, it's now white and black. Everything's switched, and it just. I just love it. I think her aesthetic is amazing, and in terms of tarot, it's just like so beautifully, it's so well done, and it's just as an art piece on its own. Like even if you don't use it as tarot, I just think it's like a wonderful thing to have in your life, and I love staring at it. So that's like one of the things that I love. And also her, like a counterpart to her, actually, this woman, Lise Silva, who is also from Oakland, and she makes these necklaces, and they do some stuff together every once in a while, but Lise has a line called Sacred Knots, and it's like wearing art, basically. It's like these beautiful, statement pieces that are just for, I think any magical lady that, loves adding a little bit of like color and flair to their outfit. I think like those are the perfect piece that you could put with like any outfit, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, now I feel great. So I love all of those. And then I would say maybe the monk oil as well.
Okay.
It is it's made out of New York. It is just like the most amazing. I don't know if I would want to call it luxury oil. It's just like this. It's just got this scent on it where you just want to put it on you all the time. Like you could either add it for moisturizer because it's got avocado oil, and so it's just like really choice ingredients. But then it also smells so good that you could like put it on as perfume, or And then it's always made on like the new moon or the new year or something specific like that. And there's a rose quartz inside each one of them.
Oh wow!
So I just feel like it has this energy to it that. I like the idea of having like some of the oil that you put on your skin to have some extra magic to it as well.
So since Friends and Neighbors is relatively new to Austin, what advice do you have for other burgeoning entrepreneurs in Austin who are trying to chase after their passions and start their own businesses?
I think it's great. I think everyone should. It's definitely a hard road. I think starting small and increasing is always a good way to do it. I think it's hard not to want all of the things all at once, but it's really difficult, I think, to do that. I think it's best to kind of focus on starting small, building yourself up, adding, your community and adding more things to your business, and eventually you'll get there. You just have to work really hard at it and keep going with everything that you have, because it takes time. And I think sometimes it's easy to question yourself and what you're doing, but I mean, the people that succeed are the ones that persevere past that and figure it out and make it work. And I encourage everyone to do it as well.
So having owned a store in New York and then now also owning your store now in Austin, how would you compare the experiences and the cities and what it's like between what the differences are?
Oh my, it's so different, and both in such amazing ways. I think like with New York, my store was in Nolita, and it was a very walking, city, and I had a lot of traffic on the street, like street traffic, and so I think New York is the kind of place where the minute you open, everyone is all over it. Like it's just like boom, you've hit the scene, and everyone wants to write about it. Everyone wants to come by, and then in a couple of years, it may not have that same power. You really have to struggle really hard to like keep everyone feeling like you're the biggest thing. Whereas in Austin, I feel like it's a slower growth. It's like people, have loyalty, and I think that, things start off small and they build momentum. It's kind of like after things have been in Austin for a few years, it starts to become more of a staple, and people, just will consistently go back to that place, and they're comfortable with that place, and they want to support that place. And so Austin, I think it's like a slower growth. It's like